like, how can you be more clever with your content? How can you do something in a way where your audience, and only you know your audience, where they're gonna go nuts for it? This is you. This whole vibe, like, this is you, right? This is how I actually dress. These are my actual clothes, right? From my actual closet. I get a lot of comments like, oh, Courtney, what if I'm not an extrovert like you? Or what if I don't wanna be fancy, or I don't like getting dressed up? That's totally fine. Be brilliant basically is being unique and showcasing your own brilliance to the world. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach, as well as a wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things. And if you're not new to me, you probably like binge watch my videos and you're like, I really love your content. How do you come up with this? I'm trying to create content and I feel like it's not doing the same thing that yours is doing. You're gonna love this video because I'm gonna talk about why your content could be falling flat. And no, it's not the algorithm. I get it. The algorithm is real, especially Instagram's algorithm. It is messed up, but we gotta stop blaming the algorithm for everything. There are very basic things that perhaps your content is missing that is causing it to fall flat and not get you the results ultimately that you're looking for. So if you're like, what is it that I'm not doing? And what is it that you are doing, Courtney? I'm gonna peel back the curtain and reveal all in this video. All right, the first reason that your content might be falling flat, and it has nothing to do with the algorithm, is simply because it's not brilliant. And by brilliant, I mean your brilliance. Too many aspiring personal brands, online coaches, consultants, just online businesses in general are like, oh, what's the content that I should create in order to get them to buy? And so they're like coming up with random topics that they don't even care about. In fact, I have a video here where I talk about how important it is not to do that and how to basically stop overthinking your content and make it seamless for you. And hint, hint, part of the reason how you do that is you talk about things that you're actually passionate about. But yeah, a lot of people, they just crank out content because they're like, oh, I think this is what people want to hear. You know, people are searching for this topic. Let me just, create some content on it, say kind of the same thing that everybody else is saying, and then wonder why they're not getting the hits. Like, one, it's got to be different, right? So here's how you can be brilliant. You can either say something new, or you can say something old in a new way. You can also brand how you say it in a different way. And you'll find that on this channel, I tend to do all three, right? I say a lot of things that my audience has not heard before. They're like, wow, you're the first person to ever say that. And I'm like, thank you. I spend a lot of time not only studying and researching, but working with clients, being introspective and just noticing different things, just seeing different observations. And that helps me come up with new insights, unique insights that a lot of other people in my field aren't able to offer. But in addition to that, there's a lot of stuff that I talk about that I say that you've maybe heard before, especially about, consistency, self-discipline, etc. But I say it in a different way. I say it in a new way where it really, really clicks for you, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, that was brilliant. Not because they haven't heard it before, but they're like, you're the first person that made me like get it. Like, I've heard that before, but I haven't heard it that way before until you said it. And now I'm like, I get it. And I'm finally gonna do it, right? So when people have that reaction with your content, that's actually when they start sharing it and when the algorithm picks it up. So it's actually not the algorithm's fault. It's just, if you could be more brilliant for yourself, by the way, we're all geniuses. We all have a certain level of brilliance, but you might be like hiding it or not really putting it out there because, again, you're focused on content that you think, oh, this is gonna go viral. This is what people wanna hear. This is what's going to sell. Or you're not really, saying it in a new way if you're saying the same thing. And then also what I mentioned, you're not branding it, right? So, my content is very me, right? And I know you don't know me in person, but even my friends and my family and everyone who watches these videos, they're like, this is you. This whole vibe, like, this is you, right? This is how I actually dress. These are my actual clothes, right? From my actual closet. We do the lighting and everything like this because this is what I actually like, right? My home actually looks like that. I'm here currently at my investment property at my Airbnb, but I designed it like me, right? So there's a resonance with my brand that people can feel because it's very connected to who I authentically am. So even if I'm saying something that you've heard before, part of the way I say it differently is not even always the way I communicate it, but it's the way that it's packaged. And people are like, ooh, I like the way your content feels. And it feels like you, and I like you. So I like this, right? Your audience can feel the exact same way. Again, that's how you bring your unique brilliant. So it's not about copying someone else or being like someone else, right? I get a lot of comments like, oh, Courtney, what if I'm not an extrovert like you? Or what if I don't want to be fancy or I don't like getting dressed up? That's totally fine. If you're like super chill, down to earth, you don't like bright colors, you like neutral stuff, then your stuff should look and feel like that. So be brilliant basically is being unique and showcasing your own brilliance to the world. Okay, another way that your content might be falling flat is because it's not clever enough. It's not clever enough in its branding. Now, this is slightly different from what I was talking about previously, but again, you wanna be innovative, you wanna be different, you wanna see things in a unique way, and you wanna brand it in a clever way, if at all possible. And so this is actually top of mind because I've been getting a lot of feedback from a recent promotion that I'm currently doing. Actually, as I'm recording this, the next day I'm gonna be hosting a brand new masterclass all around Instagram, and I've called it Square Biz. I don't know about you, I'm a girl from, Metro Detroit area. I grew up in the suburbs of Detroit, but I have an old school, mama who played a lot of soul and R&B. I remember Saturday mornings where she'd be like, cleaning the house and, has all this music, Earth, Wind and Fire, and all these different people playing in the background. And one of her favorite artists that she would play all the time is Tina Marie. So even when I came up with the title Square Biz to talk about Instagram, instantly I thought about that song Square Biz by Tina Marie. And so I decided to be clever and to brand it with that type of music and that type of feel. And even people are more excited about the branding of this than they are even just the fact that I'm gonna be teaching these topics about Instagram, because it's like instant nostalgia. They're like, oh, that's my jam. I grew up listening to that as well because my mama used to clean the house and that was the song that she was playing. So that's an example. I do a lot of different things like that, clever branding. My package promotion is another really great example about that. People went nuts for that. They were just like, wow, we love the kind of cinematography that you did with this and the way you captured this. So again, you want to be innovative. It's not necessarily that you need to be like me or anybody else, but going back to your unique brilliance, how can you be more clever with your content? How can you do something in a way where your audience, and only your audience, where they're gonna go nuts for it? They're gonna be like, oh, this is crazy. I love the way you did that. Can you connect it to a pop culture reference? Something that your audience is really gonna vibe with beyond just what you're talking about. Clever branding, it makes all the difference. I have more where that came from, but first I wanna hear from you. Are you feeling like your content is falling flat? Share in the comments below. So really what all these tips boil down to is knowing who you are and owning it. And this is something that it just kind of stresses me out to talk about because I wish more people would get this. But I find that so many people start coaching businesses because they're struggling, right? And they're like, oh, maybe if I start a coaching business, this will help me out of my struggle. But that's the worst reason to start a coaching business. You don't start a coaching business to get you out of your struggle. You start a coaching business to share your success. And so trust me, I remember what it was like. I have a whole story of how I even got into this game. And, I messed up my college engineering scholarship and had to learn about personal development and had to save up money and get back in school and do all these things. And I was teaching myself things. I waited until I was no longer struggling to start my business, right? I didn't try to coach people from the place of struggle in order to get me out of my struggle. I got myself out of my struggle. And then after I succeeded, I turned around and I created a brand to help other people do the same. And this is something that I find that a lot of people are missing. And that's really the reason that their content is falling flat. Part of the reason why they're having a hard time being brilliant, saying things in a new way or saying something new is because they have no insights to share because they haven't actually done the work. They're actually hoping that starting a coaching business is gonna be the work that's gonna catapult them out of their particular situation. And that's not how this works. You have to do the hard work. You have to do the inner work first. And then after doing the inner work, whatever that success is, you can share it with others. So we have to get out of this oh, I want to start a coaching business because I want to find myself. No, you should already know who you are, right? Find yourself first and then give of yourself to others through the form of coaching. And so if it's one thing that I see a lot of beginners struggle with, again, they're kind of grasping for straws. They're like, oh, I don't like my life. I want to do something better. Oh, I know, I'm going to start a coaching business. Maybe that'll be the answer to help me get out of whatever I'm dealing with. And it's no, get out of whatever you're dealing with. And then whatever the success was that you got from that, the unique insights that you got, the unique frameworks, then you want to share that in the coaching business. But the coaching business is not there to get you out of your mess. You get yourself out of your mess. And then whatever you did to get out of that mess, you then use that to coach others. And you will find that it's a lot easier to be brilliant. It's a lot easier to be clever because you actually have a reservoir of knowledge and experience that you're pulling from. And a lot of people simply don't have this. In fact, that's why I'm actually rebooting one of my most successful programs ever. This is like the program that put me on the map, which is called No Excuses Woman. Originally, it was a program that I had all around self-discipline. Again, the knowledge and the insights that I learned in my own journey to becoming self-disciplined. But now I'm rebooting it to not only teach you self-discipline, but to really help you achieve your goals so that from that place of achievement and from that place of success, you can then reach back and help somebody else get the same level of success that you've just achieved. And so if you want to achieve more and there's specific goals that you want to go after so that when you hit them, you can then create a coaching brand around that, I invite you to click the link below. Right now we're on a wait list. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, it'll be open for you to join, but you can click the link below to learn all about No Excuses Woman. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want even more where this came from, make sure that you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode or my next YouTube video, make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.